Thank you for joining the Doctor Whisperer. I am your host, Sharon Feckety, and I am happy to bring you a show where we talk about the business of medicine. I hope that you enjoy it. Please feel free to share, subscribe, and pass it on. Enjoy the show. Hello, everybody. I am happy to be here. I'm always happy to be having conversations with doctors who have really taken that next step to get educated about business and realize that there is a business in medicine, and then do things that maybe not everybody's doing, and then find other doctors to help them out. I think that's great. So with that, welcome to the show, Dr. Kylie Burton.
Thanks, Sharon, for having me.
Thank you for being here. So you are an international bestseller, which I love, with your book, Why Are My Labs Normal? I love that. You specialize in functional medicine, and you've helped a ton of people through their own health struggles. And even if they've been told their blood work is normal, which I'm excited to hear about. So why don't we start there? Because I think just the title of your book is very captivating. And I've had many doctors draw my blood, and then I go, oh, I wonder why they didn't order this, and that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so many of us get told, hey, your blood work's normal. And you're like, well, then why do I not feel like myself? Or why do I feel like crap? Or why do I have all the thyroid symptoms? And yet you're telling me the blood work's normal. And then you never even see the blood work. You never see the results. They just say, oh, it looks great. See you again in 12 months. Right? Well, there's a couple different flaws. The first flaw is ordering the blood work.
Yeah.
It drives me bonkers. I'm like, all you have to do is check the little box that says CBC with differential. Check the little box that says full thyroid panel. That's it. So as a physician, what labs should we be ordering? In my opinion, here's the list, and they're all just standard labs, which I love because one, insurance will pay for them in most cases, and two, everybody can get this blood work. In fact, all of your patients probably already have this blood work. So the list is one, the CBC with differential.
Okay.
And we're going to use the differential in just a few minutes as I teach you why reading it in a better way it's just different than the normal lab ranges. I always say that the CBC is the lab test worth the price of gold if you know how to read it correctly. So the CBC with differential is one. Then we have the complete metabolic panel, and that includes your blood glucose and your A1C. I love a complete iron panel, and I will go to war with this. People will say, especially as physicians, because this is how we're trained, the CBC didn't indicate that we needed to run an iron panel. So therefore, we didn't run an iron panel. Okay, the CBC has flaws. And those flaws are specifically with the iron. I have seen thousands and thousands of blood tests and thousands of CBCs, specifically because I pound on this so much that the red blood cell count all the way down to like the MCV and the MCHC and all the things, there was no indicator of a quote low number, no low marker, which would drive us to be ordering iron panels. Just order the iron panel anyways. It's very, very important, and every cell in our body needs iron. It's how we get oxygen to the cells, and our cells cannot function if we don't have energy for them, and that comes in the form of oxygen. So just get iron. CBC with differential, comprehensive metabolic panel, lipid panel, iron panel. Then the next is lipid panel, and that's all of our cholesterol, our triglycerides, and all the things. Next up is the thyroid panel. And at a minimum, with the thyroid, I would recommend TSH, free T4, free T3, TPO, and TG antibodies. And if anybody's struggling with their hormones and metabolism, weight loss, I would include the reverse T3 as well. Okay. So there's the basic set. I also want a vitamin D. I want all hormones. And when I say all hormones, I'm talking progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, and DHEA. How often do you go to the doctors and and someone complains about their libido, so they only run testosterone. Well, no duh, it's going to be low. They got the symptoms, but we can't tell why it's low if we only have one puzzle piece. So think about the blood work as multiple puzzle pieces. The more puzzle pieces you have, the more complete the puzzle. But if we're shortcutting it and just doing what the insurance says or doing what we think we know and leaving out important pieces of the puzzle, our patients are going to suffer because we just didn't bother checking a box.
So what is it then? I mean, is it that this is what was taught in medical school, stick to this ordering? Because it seems to be the way, I have gone through this. I work with a lot of doctors that do bioidentical hormones, and I've learned so much about all the things that you're saying. Who knew? The average bear going into a medical office and a doctor ordering blood work for you after you telling them that you have no sex drive, or, whatever the things. I have weight gain and I'm 48, 49. It's just kind of fascinating that this is really so common across the board with the blood work. And I don't know how to explain it because I don't have a damn clinical bone in my body.
Well, good, because you have the business bones that we don't have as practitioners. So the hardest thing is, it's the medical schooling system. It's the way that we've been trained, and it's failing us. And it's great. People will say, well, what about if you break a leg or if you have, an appendicitis attack or something like that? Great. I want nothing to do with them. Go see the doctor. Go to your ER for that. For the chronic conditions, the conditions where we don't have a diagnosis for, we aren't trained how to take care of those people unless we have a diagnosis. And even then, how many times do we get told, oh, you have RA, you better take Humira for the rest of your life? Really? Is that the answer? So it is all about our medical training. And one, what labs should we take? And two, insurance. They dictate labs, what can be drawn in so many instances. So I knew right off the gate, I'm a chiropractor by degree who hates adjusting, but hey, I knew right out of the gate, I couldn't go insurance route because insurance dictates care. And if I was going to get somebody healthy, I needed to bust out of the system. So I didn't even join it to begin with. But for those of you who are in it, it's okay to bust out of the system. In fact, it's safe. And as a patient, there are more and more and more people willing to pay the cash for the multiple puzzle pieces. It's just having to break out and say, we need more puzzle pieces to solve this case. And by ordering a CBC and missing the differential, and just by getting a TSH and just a blood glucose and just a testosterone, I mean, you have so many missing puzzle pieces there.
Yeah. And, when I'm working with, I'm thinking about this wonderful physician that, very by the book for so many years until she had her own experience, which I almost love to hear, because that's when they break out of corporate and they go, I do not want to practice medicine this way anymore. But there's a lot of valid fear, right? I mean, number one, it's just fear leaving all that money. Number one. Number two, why would you go and do something even harder than getting through medical school? Like, you've already done that. And then, they have families and you have kids, husbands and all the things, wives. And it's very hard. So a lot of the times will just introduce my doctors to each other that have done that have broken out and walked through the fear, because I do really feel like community is so important at that juncture when you are having all that fear, because you could talk yourself right out of doing it. Why would I leave something that is bringing me home six figures? I'm going to leave my health insurance. But if you believe that the system of insurance is broken, don't be part of the problem.
Exactly. And it's not even just the MDs and the DOs. It's also, I work with a lot of chiropractors because I am one, right? And naturopaths and massage therapists who have been chiros for 25 years, who have been massage therapists for 30 years. And I got an email from one today. He's like, I know that I have to change something because I'm 20 years plus down the road of burnout.
Yeah.
Another one, he's like, I'm in this pain management clinic and I've been working 75 hours a week for 12 years.
Oof. No,
And
thank
I'm like, you should be making like 1.5 million bucks if you're going to do that. But I know it's not happening.
you. Right.
And so
Yeah.
it's literally us just slaving our way and away our lives because of safety. And I get the fear, as fear is huge. And I get you're leaving your comfort zone behind. But again, it's your life. Whether you're
Yes.
40, I'm 33 years old. I got 50, 60 years ahead of me still.
Right.
My husband and I, we decided he's a roofer. Let's give you guys a little bit of motivation here. He's a roofer, and the first 5 years of our marriage, our goal was, you're going to pay the bills while I build the practice. And I'm not going to pay myself until I have that solid, rock solid foundation in my practice. A week before COVID hit in 2020, I knew that I could not go another summer with him slaving his life away for someone else to pocket the money.
Right.
He was working 50, 60 hours a week out in the heat of the day all summer long. And he would come home and he would just be nasty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I can't tolerate you going through can't tolerate us and our family. We got a little kid now, a little baby. We can't do this another summer. So he quit. He quit his job a month before COVID hit. I'm still not paying myself. I'm still working for free. We got babysitters. I mean, we went for 6 months without an income, beginning of the whole COVID breakout thing. Now, I was so grateful for multiple reasons, because one, student loans went on 0% interest rate. So I'm like, I'm saving money right here.
Yay.
But we broke free of it. And in the last 2 years, so between 21 and 22, he pocketed over $250,000 when he was making a $70K salary.
Wow.
And now on top of mine, we're about to hit the $1 million mark within my clinic. And once I get through paying this event, I'll actually be able to pay myself a good chunk, right? But it was us of making that decision and sacrificing and saying, you know what? I want to live a life where I have time for my kids. I want to live a life where I can work from anywhere in the world. Doors are wide open right now. I want to have a life where if my husband and I want to work from the beach, we can work from the beach. Like, there's so many new opportunities with the telehealth and the virtual world that you don't even have to stay in your brick and mortar practice anymore. You can do, like, I coach a lot of practitioners when they're working and have a huge flourishing chiropractic office. What if you just have the office open for a day a week? If you love to adjust, you adjust for a day. And now you can do group programs on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and bam, you got 4-day, 5-day weekends every week.
Sounds really
And there's
good.
no limit to your amount of income, because as a group program, you can have 45 people on a call, or you can have 450 people on a Zoom call. It doesn't matter. So it's just seeing other possibilities, I think, is one of the biggest issues, because we don't know that they exist. Which, when you bring it back to like, hey, I'm going to pair and connect you guys together, not only is the connection so helpful with that community, but now they get to help each other see the impossible. And when they can see, wait, if she's doing that, and if he's doing that, I could do it too. So it's it's hope at the same time.
Are you still running your medical practice like it's 1990? Well, what about Riva Global Medical Virtual Assistants? A medical virtual assistant, I promise you, is the way to run your medical practice today. Why? Because you can save, I don't know, thousands of dollars. No more paying for health insurance, no more worrying about office space. You You also have trained professionals. These wonderful human beings get trained, and they have a client service manager that makes sure that your VA that you're working with for your practice is hitting all the goals that you need to make sure that your practice is run efficiently and friendly. Check out Riva Global Medical Virtual Assistants today.
We interrupt this awesome podcast to share with you about our sponsor, Thai Technology. Thai Technology was founded with the thought that every customer deserves exceptional customer services. So if you know of any company that has a phone system where the auto attendant doesn't really sound good, you press 1 and you think you're going to go to a live person, but you end up with a broken recording, it's probably time that you call Thai Technology. And if you mention this podcast, you will get the first 3 months for free. So make sure you mention the Dr. Whisperer podcast show. Check them out. Yeah. And I think that now more than ever, there is, we've all seen how we've been able to work remotely. And it's almost, well, it's funny, not funny that businesses are asking people to come back to work into the office. That's all going to go to shit in a minute, because people are just, we realized in this pandemic that there are other ways and greater opportunities. And also where you could reach so much. I mean, you're in Utah, I'm in Tampa Bay. We have podcasts. You got a headset on. We're talking into microphones. We've never met in person, but you know, there's so much potential. And I think that you're right. I think that once somebody sees hope in somebody else, that they've already walked through that fear, that's really what brings people to taking that leap of faith and doing it. So why don't you tell me a little bit? I know you have a big event coming up in Orlando in February of 2023. I can't believe I'm saying 2023 already, but yes. And
speaking of community and camaraderie and meeting each other and lifting each other up, the event is called In This Together Live.
In This Together Live.
We are not each other's competition.
Mm-hmm.
We are in this together. The world needs us. The world needs us more so now than ever before, I believe. And it's just going to we're just going to become more and more in demand. And to know that not only are we helping each other out, but to know that, because as an alternative practitioner, we go on social media and we can create a stir and we can get some hate. And it's so nice to know that no matter what hate I get, I know I have a huge extended family of practitioners. They got my back. And as a chiropractor who knew literally nothing about business, the moment I graduated school, we literally had one class in it, and it was all about, what do you know? Insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So we know nothing about business, marketing, nada. The event is all about helping you build a practice that you love, that doesn't create burnout. You can scale virtual. I'm going to teach you how to do rock solid group programs. I have some of the best speakers in the world. A couple of them, a handful of them are actually Floridians.
All right.
Yeah, so Florida's rocking it. But it's really going to help us with the marketing, the business, and then open up our minds to things we didn't even know are possible. So the whole theme of the event is to create magic. And when we're in a community where we all are supporting each other, and when we can see that something else is possible, that we can practice and we can use our expertise in other ways, we can create magic together. So In This Together Live, February 20th, 21st, and 22nd, Orlando, Florida. There is a virtual option available too, because why not?
Yeah.
Come join us in person. Come join us virtually if you need to. It is going to be an incredible 2.5-day event that is going to blow up your business.
I love it. Well, I think obviously, I mean, my whole career has been to help doctors navigate through the business of medicine. And I'm certainly not enough. I need more especially practitioners out there, especially doctors that are willing to share their knowledge and their information to help others succeed from the time they open, not waiting 20 plus years like you were mentioning about your friend, because that's just the story that is, I always hear. Where were you 25 years ago, Sharon? Where, well, I mean, I wasn't there, but I just can't even believe they're still not teaching this in school. And it's not even, I have a lot of doctors that have decided to go back and like get their MBA or go to take some entrepreneurship courses. But the real truth is most people don't know how it is to run a business until they're actually doing it. And there's a lot of things that are very simple and practical that can be done to help. Like, this is a very basic example, but what you're doing now, you're having an event in February. You know how many people have said, I have an event and it's in 2 weeks. And I'm like, well, you're SOL, bro. Like,
you have no idea how hard my heart is pounding when I'm like, okay, we got like 3 months. All right, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah. But you have to plan it. You have to
plan it. And for me, it's more important, not only just planning, but knowing the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The whole connecting thing, the getting in communities. Every single person that I'm able to bring on stage is because I'm in a mastermind of some sort. I met them somewhere. I connected with them on a podcast or my podcast or something. I never, ever, ever believed networking was a thing. When I first graduated school, I was like, I have a brand new baby. I can't spend my evenings at these dinners, networking with people in the community.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was like, I don't want to be in that small niche area. I want to be able to expound and network on a more friendly timeline for my life. So I still hate the word networking. I prefer connecting over for networking. But it literally is, you got to meet people. You got to know people. And you got to just say, I am scared to death to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, magic is going to happen. Magic will happen at this event. And it's funny because people are always thinking like, you're hosting this event. It's going to cost me $250,000 to host this event. I could pay off my house with that much money.
Mm-hmm.
I could pay off all my student loans with that much money. So making it unconventional decisions also leads to unconventional success. But you've got to have the ability to pass through the fear and the ability to say, you know what, I just need to talk to Sharon today. I need someone to set my mind in the right place and just remind myself that I can do this. And to be able to look at each other in the same field and say, you know what, she was an MD in an ER and hated it and she broke free. I can do it too.
Yeah.
So the more successful we all are, the more we're going to lift up our entire really world. To know that just because you are doing one thing doesn't mean you can't transition and be good at both things. Be good at everything that you do.
Yeah. I mean, there's this great book. I've done a lot of talks about this book in particular. It's called Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. And it's, when I read it, I thought, man, I know all of this stuff that's in here, but it's so good to reread how important it is to connect. One of the chapters is connecting with connectors, and another is be a conference commando, the networking jerk, I loved every single chapter of it. And I love to teach it to people, especially professionals in the medical industry, because that phrase of it's all about who you know, like that's not really true. It's really all about who you help. And it's really about wanting to build other people up, but then keeping the people around you that are going to build you up instead of, because how many people have said, well, that's a terrible idea, Kylie, that's never going to work. I remember they told me once I was leaving New York, they said, Sharon, you'll be back in 6 months. It's been 18 years, and I think that if we surround ourselves with people that don't believe that you are capable, It's because they're scared, right? We know this. They're scared of, and they have limits on themselves. But it really is important to surround yourselves with people that not only believe in you, but have done the work and can show you how to get there. So I'm a fan. I'm thinking that everybody that is listening or watching that is thinking about leaving the practice that they're in and branching out on their own, everybody needs a community. Everybody. And I think that these in-person events are really, really beneficial because you really do need a tribe.
Yeah. In this together live, February 2023. It's just the beginning. It's the first annual event, and come create your tribe. If you might have a tribe of 3 people right now, make it 300 people. A tribe of people just like you who want to help others and realize that I can help so many more people if I just add this one component into my practice or throw in this group program. There's so many opportunities out there.
Yeah, I love it. I also love that there's an opportunity to go virtually. I think that that's important. I don't think that anybody really benefits when they're not able to be there in person, minus, the COVID time when we were all in lockdown and couldn't see other humans. But I think that it's really important to connect because it really is, it's not talked about enough. Everybody feels like networking has a bad reputation, but if it wasn't for the people that introduced me to somebody else or connected me with somebody that was like-minded, I wouldn't be in business on my own 10 years later. That's for damn sure. So
yeah, and with these events too, I make it a priority. Like for me, it is mandatory now to be inside these in-person events because I'm not in a physical location where I'm with the right-minded people where I live, right? But I go and I place myself in the right virtual rooms. I place myself in the right in-person room so I can get that. Oh yeah, spending $1 million on ads is a normal thing. That I get in those rooms. I don't get that in my physical environment from where I am. So wherever you are, you can put yourself in virtual rooms. You can put yourself in the in-person events to have that 3% of our population where we think differently, we make different decisions, we act differently, especially when it comes to business. And business is just helping people. That's all it is. To remind ourselves like, oh yeah, this is normal. For the 3% of the population, it's normal, but you got to put yourself in those places to normalize those things.
Yeah, I'm really happy we were able to talk about that today, Kylie, because I don't think it's spoken about enough.
Feel like we could go on forever. Maybe I'll find you in Tampa in a couple weeks.
I agree. I really do. I think that people need each other so much more than it's talked about, especially in business. I just celebrated my 50th birthday, and thank you. And my girlfriend, she's an attorney in Tampa. She booked this wonderful weekend down in Clearwater Beach. And and we're going to have a brunch on Sunday. And I invited women that I really respected in business to come because I want to always be around people that I'd like to aspire to be. I don't want to be around people actually that, haven't left their environment in a while and are negative. So I'm doing that for myself, for my soul. And I think that in our world in medicine, we certainly need each other to keep breaking out of these corporate handcuffs. No more.
And at 50, that was the best birthday present. Right? Surround yourself by people who are like, I don't care if you're 50, 60, 70, or 80. Like, go for it. Do the thing. Do the thing. All right, everybody. Go ahead. I was just going to say, not even just to do the thing, but to create new things in your mind, new things that you can accomplish over the next decade. Because why not? Why the hell not? Well, I've enjoyed our conversation, and please check out all the show notes. You'll find all the links to Kylie's book and also information about the conference that's coming up in Orlando. Tell your friends. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. 2023 is your year to break out and do the thing, as Kylie says. Yes. Thanks for being here today. Thanks, Sharon.
So if you want to party like it's 1999, but run your medical practice like it's 2022, don't forget to check out Riva Global Medical Virtual Assistants.
So don't forget, if you mention that you've seen the show or listened to it on the podcast, mention Thai Technology and you will get 3 months for free.